Hello and welcome to this A-Level Chemistry exam question walkthrough. The question is available through a link in the description, and this means that if you want to, you can download the question and have a go at it yourself before you watch this video. My recommendation is that you aim to give yourself a minute per mark. During this video, I'll be modelling my thinking out loud and annotating the question, mostly in red and blue, and then the answers that will get you the marks will be shown in purple. If you find parts of this question difficult, you could always check out my explanation video about this topic by using the master links document available in the description. This question is about atomic structure. In 1897, J.J. Thomson discovered the electron. He suggested that atoms were positively charged spheres with electrons embedded within them. The diagram below represents an atom using Thomson's model, which is also known as the plum pudding model, and the diagram shows us our sphere of positive charge with the electrons embedded in the sphere randomly. Suggest the identity of this atom. Give two differences between the modern model of the atom and the Thomson model. It's the number of protons that determines the identity of an atom, and we can't see protons in this diagram as they hadn't been discovered yet, but we can see the electrons, and we can see that there are 5 electrons here, and since it's an atom, that means we know that it will be neutral, and so the number of positive protons will be the same as the number of negative electrons, and so that means that this atom has got 5 protons, and so therefore it will have an atomic number of 5, which means that its identity is boron. The modern model of the atom, also known as the nuclear model, looks broadly like this, although as we know the electron arrangement can be shown with greater complexity than I'm doing here. When considering the differences, the best thing to do is focus on where subatomic particles are found in the modern model compared to the Thomson model. And here it's worth noting that at this time, only electrons had been discovered, and that electrons were discovered first, and then protons, and then neutrons. So from the diagrams, we can see that the modern model has electrons in shells, or energy levels, rather than embedded randomly. Also, the modern model has protons in the centre of the atom, and it has neutrons in the centre of the atom as well. For both of these, we could instead say in the nucleus rather than in the centre of the atom. And finally, in the modern model, most of the atom is in fact empty space, or we could say most of the mass is found in the nucleus. Any two of these 4 options that I've shown here could be used as the differences for 1 mark each. Tellurium has a relative atomic mass of 127.6. Iodine has a relative atomic mass of 126.9. Define relative atomic mass and suggest one property of tellurium that justifies its position before iodine in the modern periodic table. The command word define means that this is something that you need to just remember and recall. For me, my preferred way of defining relative atomic mass is to remember it as a fraction. And on the numerator, we have the average, or we could say mean, mass of one atom of an element. And this would get us our first mark. And then this is divided by 1/12 of the mass of one atom of carbon-12. And this gets us our second mark. There are a number of variations on this theme of writing our answer as a fraction. Instead of saying the average mass of one atom, we might say the average mass of all of the atoms of an element, or the average mass of all of the isotopes. This would still be divided by 1/12 of the mass of one atom of carbon-12. Alternatively, we might say the average mass of 1 mole of atoms divided by 1/12 of the mass of 1 mole of carbon-12. They all would get us the same 2 marks. 1 mark for saying what it is, and the other mark of saying what it is compared to. If you prefer a slightly less mathematical way of defining relative atomic mass, we could state it as the average mass of an atom compared to carbon-12 on a scale where an atom of carbon-12 has a mass of 12. Each of these lines would get us 1 mark. It's the equivalent of the numerator and the denominator from the fraction-based definition. In terms of the justification as to why tellurium is before iodine in the periodic table, even though the relative atomic mass of tellurium is greater than that of iodine, the best way to approach the answer to this question is to state to yourself that we just simply don't use relative atomic mass to order the periodic table anymore. We use increasing atomic number. And so from that point of view, our way into this question is to say that tellurium has an atomic number of 52, whereas iodine has an atomic number of 53, which is obviously larger. Or we could answer this in terms of protons, which is what the atomic number represents. And here we could say that tellurium has 1 fewer proton than iodine. Or we could answer in terms of electrons, and tellurium has 6 valence electrons, so that means 6 electrons in its outermost occupied energy level, whereas iodine has 7. And then the electrons in the valence shell gives rise to another difference that we could use here to explain the sequence of the periodic table, and that is chemical properties. And tellurium, because it has 6 valence electrons, will have similar chemical properties to the other group 6 elements that also have 6 valence electrons. And iodine, by contrast, has got 7 valence electrons, so it would have similar chemical properties to the group 7 elements, which also have 7 valence electrons. Any of these 4 options would get us our mark for this question, which brings us to 3 marks for the question overall. Part C says that a sample of tellurium is analysed in a time-of-flight mass spectrometer using electron impact ionisation. Give an equation, including state symbols, for this ionisation. Well, electron impact ionisation is where a high-energy electron hits a sample and knocks an electron out from that sample. And the sample itself must be a gas, and so that means that the element that we start with must be a gas, and the ion that we produce must be a gas. And so we start with tellurium atoms in the gas state, and then we produce tellurium ions that are singly positively charged, because this is the first ionization of tellurium, and we have our electron that has been knocked out. Or if you prefer, you could show that high energy electron that is going into the sample of tellurium on the left-hand side. And then when we do that, we obviously make tellurium plus again in the gas state. But this time we need to show 2 electrons on the right-hand side. One was that high energy electron that went into the sample, and the second is the electron that got knocked out. Either of these is fine for the mark. I prefer the first one because it gets us into good habits of not including something on both sides of an equation, which you wouldn't normally be allowed to do. This is an absolute rare exception. In the time-of-flight mass spectrometer, an ion of an isotope of tellurium with a mass number of Y travels along a 1.25 meter distance flight tube with a kinetic energy of 1.88 times 10 to the minus 12 joules. The ion takes 3 times 10 to the minus 7 seconds to reach the detector. This is what's known as the time of flight. Then we're given the kinetic energy equation, Ke equals half mv squared, where Ke is the kinetic energy in joules, m is the mass of one ion in kilograms, and v is the speed of the ion in meters per second. Calculate the mass in grams of 1 mole of these tellurium ions. Use your answer to suggest the mass number of the tellurium isotope. And we're told that the Avogadro constant is 6.022 times 10 to the 23. We've been given the kinetic energy equation, so let's start with that and see which values we have. We can see that we've got the kinetic energy of 1.88 times 10 to the minus 12, but in fact, that's it. So right now, this is the equation that we've got. So we don't know m and we don't know v. M is actually related to our final goal, so that means that finding v must be our first point. Since v equals d divided by t, so that has velocity in meters per second and distance in meters and time in seconds, so this equation is easy to remember if you think about the units, we can substitute the values in from the question. D was 1.25 meters and T was 3 times 10 to the minus 7 seconds. This gives us a speed for the ion of 4166666.7 meters per second, or more simply, 4.17 times 10 to the 6 meters per second. And this will be our first marking point. Now we can return to our kinetic energy equation and substitute this value in. And so we have 1.88 times 10 to the minus 12 equals a half times by m times by 4.17 times 10 to the 6 squared. This value, when we square it, is 1.739 times 10 to the 13. So we can now rearrange this equation and find out what m is. And we need to calculate 1.88 times 10 to the minus 12, multiply that by 2, and divide it by 1.739 times 10 to the 13. And this rearranged equation will actually give us our second marking point. You could have got this second marking point by rearranging the equation before substituting the values in. And then when we calculate our answer, we get 2.162 times 10 to the minus 25 kilograms. And this will be our third marking point. Since this answer has come from a series of separate calculations which could all be rounded slightly differently, the answer that will be acceptable for the marking point number 3 would be somewhere between 2.16 and 2.17 times 10 to the minus 25 kilograms for the mass of one ion. But we don't want the mass of one ion, we want the mass of 1 mole of these ions, and we want it in grams and not kilograms. So we need to do some conversions. The first thing that we need to do is convert the mass from kilograms into grams by multiplying it by 1000. But this is still the mass of one individual ion, and we want to convert this into the mass of a mole of ions. And so the next thing that we need to do is multiply this number by the Avogadro constant, 6.022 times 10 to the 23. And when we do this, we get an answer of 130.2 grams for 1 mole of these ions. Again, because of possible variations in rounding earlier in the question, the answer is likely to accept somewhere in the range of 130 to 131. And this will be the fourth marking point for this question. The final marking point asks us to suggest the mass number of Y. And it's important to note the command word used here, suggest. That means no further calculations really are likely to be necessary. And for this, we need to remember that the mass number is the number of protons added to the number of neutrons. And so this number must be an integer. And so our final mark will be for rounding whatever we got in M4 to make it an integer. And since I got 130.2, for me, this answer becomes a mass number of 130. Supposing your marking point for M4 was 130.5 or greater, you would have got an answer of 131 for your integer value for mass number. But for me, it was 130. Tellurium has several other isotopes. Two of these isotopes are tellurium-126 and tellurium-124. A different sample of tellurium is analysed using a time-of-flight mass spectrometer. Which statement about kinetic energy is correct? This question is trying to tap into some uncertainty about the mass spectrometer process, so let's unpick it and gain clarity. For any given sample being analysed in a time-of-flight mass spectrometer, all isotopes are given the same kinetic energy. And since kinetic energy is half mv squared, that means that the lighter isotopes will have a higher velocity. And so the isotopes with a lower mass will have a shorter time of flight. And this means that we can look at our choices with confidence now and tick the middle box because both of the tellurium isotopes have got the same kinetic energy.